This year we were fortunate enough to open up a 6th classroom, so we get to kind of work in pairs. And for those of you who don't know me, my name's Ashley Cummings and I teach the 3-4 class. All of my kids will be 4 by the beginning of November, and some of them, based on age, will be able to go on to kindergarten next year. Some of them will continue with us. And I get to work with Miss Buckner.
Hello, I am Miss Buckner. I work alongside with Miss Wynn as my TA. I am the youngest 3s teacher in the building, so I get the little ones that are freshly 3, like turned 3 yesterday, and then I have all the way up to the ones that will turn 4, maybe sometime starting in the fall. But I will end the year still having 3-year-olds in my classroom, because some will not turn 4 until they get into the older groups.
Hi, I am Ms. Rodriguez and I work with the 4-year-olds. Our 4-year-olds will be going on to kindergarten now that we've added another classroom. I work with Ms. Wagner, she's my TA, and I also work with Ms. Mamusha and Ms. T. Ms. Mamusha cannot be here because she had prior obligations. Yeah.
And then I'm Beth Drew. I teach the oldest class, my older 4s. I work with Miss Ruth every day, and all of our kids will be 5 by like the middle of October. So we're working on getting kindergarten ready.
I'm Miss Floyd. I am the 2nd oldest class in the building, along with Miss Drew, and I'm also the site admin. So I'm in the classroom most of the day, and then by the end of the day, I'm behind the scenes doing some admin things. So we're super excited. We have a great team. We enjoy what we do, which makes it fun, and we love the kids. They're great. They give us great stories every day. So don't think your secrets are safe at home.
Nothing is safe.
No.
Okay, so as we get started, you'll hear us talk a little bit about all of the programs that we do. We have our CKLA, which is our language arts program. It's called Core Knowledge Language Arts. We have Eureka Math. We have Heggerty, which is our phonics program. And then we also started a new curriculum this year. It's called A Little Spot of Feelings. And it's to help the kids better identify their feelings and their emotions and put names to their emotions. So that's really great.
So we will start with, I always like to talk about the difference between child care and daycare, because there is a major difference between what we do in a day-to-day area compared to a daycare. Your daycare is your average 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Anything goes, state regulated, that kind of thing. We're very structured. We run on a curriculum, math, language, phonics, and emotions. We teach them basics from how to walk down the hallway, how to raise hands in the classroom, raise values, which is respect, accountability, service, and integrity, and excellence. And they get raise bars in my room if they show that without us having to guide and tell them that, to show like, hey, you showed some respect to your friend right then. Like, you know, here's what's holding you accountable. Compared to daycare, where your verbiage might be, you're being so bad today. And we steer so far from that kind of language in our classroom at all. Another thing is, and I laugh at this one because it does make me giggle a little bit. Preschool and pre-K, the only difference is age. Preschool is just your 3-year-olds, your younger 3 to 4s, and pre-K is your older 4 to 5s. That's it. We all learn the same curriculum here. Nobody learns anything different. The only difference that you'll see between the classrooms is they have to modify in the other classrooms what we're teaching. Like with our colors that we just did, they have to teach them their primary colors, which is red, yellow, blue, and green, where our older class has to learn all the colors and be able to remember it and tell it back to us when they see it. So that's only minor modifications that are made. And it's made even different from Ms. Buckner's to Ms. Cummings to Ms. Rodriguez, Ms. Mamusha, me and Ms. Drew. we do our classrooms about the same. We'll adjust it according to our kids, because we want to make sure that our kids are ready to go for weight prep. We don't want to set them up for failure. We want to make sure that they're ready to go and kindergarten ready. We have a lot of great feedback from last year. So if you ever want to talk to any of those parents, let me know. They'd be glad to connect with you and tell you how they enjoyed it. With our curriculum, we have social skills, emotional skills, language, literacy, communication, technology, immersion, and more. We also give them what is called CLOs, which is clear learning objectives, which is a goal that is set for the kids to meet every week per the curriculum that we're teaching. Our motto is learn, lead, change the world, because it starts with them. They're our youngest generation. It starts with them. And we want to give them the best education that we're able to. We're going to go over CKLA, Eureka, Haggerty, and a little spot of feelings and emotions. CKLA, we do whole group, small group. We have vocabulary. We have nursery rhymes. We have classic tales, like we just recently did The Country Mouse and the City Mouse. We talk about important people in American history. We also have different activity pages. A lot of these go home with the older classes because they get used to using the folders every week, because when they go to kindergarten, they have a red folder for Friday folder, a blue folder for classwork, a yellow folder for like PE and stuff. So we're starting small with one. But sometimes you'll see this go home, sometimes we'll do it in the classroom. This is our basic layout here. It guides us as to what goals they need to meet each week. We have pausing points to make sure that everybody's caught up and understanding what we're putting out there towards them. In our day-to-day overview, we go over our circle time, which covers our letter of the week, number of the week, shape, and color. We also go over like class jobs, what's the weather, what's their name. And when we say what's their name, it could be that we spell their name and they have to recognize that we're spelling their name and not a friend's name. Or we hold up something with their name on it and they need to be able to recognize it by seeing it as well. We'll go over the nursery rhyme of the week. We have 2 small group activities that we do with the kids for CKLA. It might be on the floor, it might be at the table. Our small groups run from 4 to 5 kids in the upper groups and 2 to 3 in the younger groups. Then we introduce the book that we're reading and we go in depth with the book. Who are the characters? What happened? How are they feeling? How do you know they felt that way? Can you retell the story to me and do it in the correct sequence that it was read to you? These squiggly lines right here, these are called handwriting strokes. And what it is your basic strokes that you do when you're writing your alphabet, when you're writing your letters. So we're teaching them their basics by doing it. They do it in the air, they do it on paper, we do it in sand, paint, anything that we can think of to help them get to the next level. These are some more things that we sent home. I'm sure some of y'all have seen them. They're not just extra fluff, I promise. Do y'all have any questions about CKLA? Okay, so we're talking about community helpers this week. And some of the activities for small groups that we do is like, this is a chef. And along with this, they have cards that they have to be able to, one, identify the picture and then match the picture over here. But they also have to sort it out from the group. This is CKLA, but it ties back into Haggerty because they have to be able to sort and match as well. So they have the community helpers with the different objects that they need to use. But then they're able to identify what each thing is, like a thermometer and medicine and x-rays and so on. And in our small groups of 4 to 5 kids or 2 to 3 kids, we get that one-on-one time to help them think through, what do you think this is right here? What is this used for? What is it to listen to? So it helps us challenge them a little bit more. Eureka is our math program. It is the same math that is used here that's used over there. So it is a stepping stone from here to there. In Eureka, it is a nonprofit by Greater Minds. They turn mathematical equations into stories with the goal of having children better understand. It challenges students to find different methods to solve the problem instead of skipping directly to answering the problem. And that is the truth. One of our lessons, this is from lesson 11. The objective is arrange and count up to 3 objects to play a game. You probably see this and think, oh, this is easy, right? But your child has to be able to identify, roll the dice, identify that this is a number, this represents a number. It also has to match it to this, and then they have to take the cars and count out how many cars go with the dots on the board too. So not only are we going to teach them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we're actually teaching them how to count out of order, but how to match, and then how to pair this with a numeral as well. I was telling a parent earlier, explaining Eureka is hard because it sounds very basic and very easy compared to when we're actually going through the lessons with the kids. You can go and find Eureka on greatminds.org. It is there. If you Google it, you will be able to pull up the teacher lesson books, the lessons, the homework, everything. It walks you through all of it, the answer keys. I definitely encourage it when you go to the upper schools. The verbiage is real and it is tough. My personal kids do it, and I have to go back and look at what they're trying to explain. It's not the way math used to be at all. So it can take hours, but I promise if you Google it and just Google Eureka math lesson, it'll pull up the lessons and the teacher guides and everything to help you walk through it as well. Anybody have questions about math? Okay. We all have anything? All right, Haggerty is our phonics program, and I think the teachers enjoy it a little bit more than the kids do. We have fun with it. It's lots of hand motions and hand movements. It's on YouTube, but you need to look for the purple book. It is based off of different books. It's the purple book. They do it differently on YouTube than how we do it in the classroom. The way we do it in the classroom is we need to make sure we're matching the kids and how they can understand it and go along with it. It's 35 weeks of lessons. It is a whole group instruction, and it does take only about 10 minutes. It teaches rhyming, fluency, isolation, blending, adding, and deleting, and substituting. So, week 1 in my classroom, I'd say, today we'll hear and say words that rhyme with O. Go, no, and then the students will repeat after you for each one. These words will all have the rhyming part, O. The first week we use their names to focus on beginning letter sounds. So if we had a John, we'd say John is J. J is the beginning sound of John. So we made it clear, we're recognizing the beginning sound, and then we're repeating what we're expecting them to learn and do after us. Blending, the way that I blend in my room is I tell my kids to warm their hands up and get them ready. And then we'll say in, 2. And they'll repeat after me. Then they'll say in, 2. And we put together is into. The last letter sound is punch it out. We guide them very carefully on this one to make sure they either go up or away from friends. So when they do last letter sounds, they'll do like name is like n, aim. So it breaks it apart, beginning, middle, end. Let's see. At the end of it, we do our alphabet, but our alphabet is not your typical alphabet song. We try to pick songs that have the letter sound with it, like A says I is for apple, alligator, or B is B for ball, to make sure it is broken down for them. We also count our words in a sentence. I can run. 1, 2, 3. I can run. so that they know how many words are going along in a sentence too. Am I missing anything? Yeah. We do nursery rhymes with some of our Haggerty, with our field boards. And so what we'll do is we'll show them how to sing the song and place the pictures as we go along. In my room, we did 5 little monkeys today jumping on the bed. And after I was done showing them, I placed it in my cozy corner, and you could hear them singing as they're placing and going and doing. So it's just interactive learning and getting them engaged. Anybody have any questions? All right, a little spot of emotions and feelings. These are our little fun friends that help us teach the kids how to describe how they feel. It's really helpful. We like to say green choices and red choices, not good and bad. We never want a child to think that they're bad or wrong, or, we want them to be able to identify that they're angry and they're frustrated, and when they're mad and frustrated and red, that they made a red choice because of a frustration point. If they made green choices, it's because they're peaceful, calm, and happy. So instead of saying, you're so bad, we're saying, this is a red choice because you're frustrated. And kind of put everything together. These are all our lovely emotions we have. This is hung up in our classrooms and broken down so that they can go over there and tell us how they're feeling, or point to the picture that they feel so we can better understand as well. Because if we don't understand, we don't know how to help them. So orange is confident and brave and strong. Green is calm and peaceful. They do show methods of how to go from red to green, which is a breathing activity. Miss Buckner's class uses it very well. This is also on YouTube. It's by Diane Albert. There's episodes. It breaks it down for each emotion for each child as well. And it's very kid friendly. The kids understand it. We just go behind it and help challenge them a little bit on how they're feeling. They teach them to look at facial expressions like eyebrows and eyes, and if they're flushed or if they're pale, or how your face looks, your body language when you're mad or sad or frustrated. So there's songs and everything. Does anybody have any questions for that they can think of? Yes.
Which week are you in Haggerty?
9.
Week 9.
Yeah. We're on week 9. Over here, we did Hispanic Heritage Month. It ends October 15th. Is that right? So each week we are taking a country and looking at their flag. We're also looking at their traditions and foods that they eat, different dances and music and artwork. So we actually had a really good time with that. We do charting over here. The first 2 are mine and Miss Drew's. This is from Domain 1, where the kids had to classify food, exercise, how to be healthy, and how to stay clean. And we just held up the picture and we asked them, where does it go? Because we had previously talked about it, and it's just challenging to see if they know how to follow behind it. The apples came from Miss Rodriguez's crowd.
We did, for science, we learned about apples, how they can be different colors. We also got a chance to actually taste them, and they ended up telling us whether they like the red apple, yellow apple, or green apple. And we talked about their different, whether they're sweet, sour. Once we tried them, they ended up learning that we're actually doing math as well. Who got liked the most, who liked the least, kind of thing in our class. Just also get to know your child as well.
The next one is Miss Cummings, between summer and fall.
So when it became fall, we talked about, the different activities that we can do in the fall versus what we do in the summertime, and kind of compare.
The next one we did in my room for the little spot of emotions. They were able to take a picture of the child and pair it with the emotion that it matched. based off of their facial expressions and their body language. And they did great with it, they enjoyed it. The next one is families and houses and homes.
That was part of CKLA. We read both of the stories. We asked the students whether they like families or houses, and they also got to learn about the different traditions for families. And then for the house homes, they learned about how there's houseboats, apartments, and of course, we again charted that way we could add some math to that as well.
The next one is from Ms. Buckner's group, and we started talking about community helpers.
Yeah, so in our class, we kind of opened up for discussion since we already had the topic of what kind of community helper do you want to be? We got to talk about all the different types of community helpers. So after that, we just kind of opened it up. Let's talk about different ones. Give me an example. As they were giving examples, I was also asking them which one would you want to be? So we would start doing tallies and we would count up, also doing math on ours to see which community helper, the majority of the children want to be.
We also did, in the older classes, in Mr. and my class, we did, what do you want to be when you grow up? And those students were asked to draw a picture of what they want to be, what community helper they want to be when they grow up. And then the very last one is another one from our Heritage Hispanic Month from Mr. Ruth's group.
We made piñatas, and they had a really good time decorating those, and we watched some different videos about how to make piñatas and what comes out of them and different things like that, so they had a good time with it.
Yeah. We also do science, a little bit of science at the end of the day. We did, for my group, we're on bats this week. Next week we're gonna do pumpkins because we're going to Hill Ridge. So we're gonna do some pumpkin stuff next week, and Ashley, Miss Cummings, one of her things she did, they made lungs out of paper bags. So it's like STEM projects. And, what else?
We've done weather.
Yeah.
We've also, of course, apples, weather, and we're gonna learn about our bones coming up.
So it's different ways to kind of just get them involved and figure out how the best way that they learn. Another thing I'll say, assessments is a big scary word, but it doesn't need to be. It's not like it's a pass or fail thing. It is definitely just to see if your kid's tracking what we're teaching them. We want to make sure they're catching on, that we're using the right verbiage. Sometimes I might say it one way and they don't understand it, but my TA might say it differently and they get it. And that's okay. As long as they're getting it somehow, that's all we want to know. So we do have our Domain 2 assessments coming up, which is just their colors, and our rhyming words, op, am, e, and at. And then the family interview part, which is your immediate family, your extended family, your family traditions, naming one thing, and naming an activity that you do with your family as well. So that's our curriculum for you. If you think of any questions, let us know. Our teachers are gonna be here. We'll be walking around to the classrooms. Please feel free to walk through the classrooms, walk around the building again. If you have any questions, just find us and we'll answer them the best that we can. All right. Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome.